Get ready, because Melania Trump just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. After years of whispers, rumors, and endless speculation about her relationship with Donald Trump, she's finally breaking her silence. And what she's revealing will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about their marriage. Stick around. This revelation is bigger than anyone could have imagined, and it's about to turn everything upside down. For years, Melania was known for her quiet, almost distant presence next to Donald Trump. While the world analyzed his every move, she stayed in the background, rarely giving anything away. She played the role of the supportive wife throughout his controversial presidency. But was it all just an act? Why did she stay so quiet? Was she truly on board with Donald's ambitions, or was something deeper going on behind the scenes? From the outside, she seemed to have it all: the wealth, the fame, the glamorous lifestyle. But behind the curtain, her world was constantly under a microscope. Observers couldn't help but notice how rarely she showed public affection toward Donald. She barely spoke about politics, and when she did, it often felt calculated or distant. Was their marriage really as solid as it looked, or was it just a carefully maintained public image? No matter how many rumors swirled, Melania kept her composure. As First Lady, she was frequently asked about her personal life, but she always managed to dodge the questions with vague, polished answers. To the world, she was the quiet, elegant partner, content to let Donald be the main event while she remained in the shadows. But over time, that silence started to feel less like a choice and more like a defense mechanism, a way to shield herself from the chaos that surrounded her husband. While Donald thrived on controversy and media attention, Melania seemed to want no part of it. Who could forget the infamous "I really don't care, do you?" jacket? That simple outfit choice turned into a massive debate. Was she making a statement of independence, or was it a cry for help? She never gave a clear answer, but one thing was obvious: her silence only made people more curious. Now, after years of carefully maintaining her image, Melania is finally speaking up. The mask has started to slip, and the truth about her marriage is beginning to unravel. But the big question remains: is she finally ready to tell all, or is this just another strategic move in a bigger game? To the outside world, the Trump family seemed like the definition of success. Donald and Melania, the power couple with money, fame, and political influence. They had the mansions, the private jets, and a son, Barron, who many saw as the future of the Trump legacy. But as time passed, cracks started to appear in their perfect image. Was their marriage truly built on love, or was it something else entirely? People often wondered why Melania stayed so reserved during Donald's time in office. While other First Ladies took on passionate causes and spoke out, she mostly stayed in the background. Sure, she had her own charity work, but it never made waves the way past First Ladies' initiatives had. It left people wondering, was she truly happy in her marriage, or was she simply playing a role? As the years went by, whispers grew louder that their relationship wasn't built on romance, but rather political strategy. Some even speculated that their marriage was more of a business arrangement, one that allowed them both to maintain their public personas while staying in the spotlight. Whatever the truth may be, one thing's for sure: Melania's latest revelation is about to change everything. The idea that Melania and Donald's marriage was more of a political arrangement than a romantic one had been floating around for years. Every time she stood quietly behind him at major events, the speculation only grew. Was she just another piece in his political strategy, or was there more to the story than anyone realized? Despite the ongoing whispers, the couple continued to present a united front. Melania remained by Donald's side throughout his re-election campaign, keeping up the image of a supportive wife. As First Lady, she had played the part well, always appearing poised and composed. But was she truly as content as she seemed, or was that calm exterior hiding something much deeper? Then, out of nowhere, Melania shattered the illusion with a bombshell revelation, one no one saw coming. Her announcement turned everything upside down, leaving the world in shock. Had she finally decided to break her silence and reveal what had really been happening behind the scenes? On what seemed like an ordinary day, Melania made a statement that no one was prepared for. This wasn't just any announcement. It was a game changer that would forever alter how people viewed her marriage to Donald Trump. Every word she spoke was deliberate, filled with unspoken meaning, leaving people hanging on every sentence. What exactly was she trying to say? And why now? The timing couldn't have been more dramatic. After years of silence, Melania chose to speak out just as Donald was stepping back into the political spotlight, gearing up for another campaign. Was this her way of reclaiming her voice after years of being in his shadow? Or was there something much more personal at play? Whatever her reason, the shockwave was immediate. The moment her words hit the public, social media erupted. People were desperate to decode her message. Was she hinting at trouble in her marriage? Was she preparing to separate from Donald? Or was this a carefully planned move to shift the public's perception of her? Regardless of the intent, one thing was clear. Melania's statement had sent shockwaves through the political world. News outlets wasted no time jumping on the story, analyzing every single word, trying to uncover the true meaning behind her revelation. Political experts chimed in with their own theories, questioning what this could mean for Donald Trump's political future, and for Melania's place in it. As the dust began to settle, one big question remained. Was this the beginning of the end for their marriage, or was it all just another calculated political play? No matter which way you looked at it, Melania's announcement had grabbed the world's attention. Now, all eyes were on her and Donald. What would their next move be? Would they weather the storm together, or was this the breaking point that would finally tear them apart? After Melania's shocking revelation, the internet couldn't stop buzzing with speculation. People who once saw her as the picture of composure were now convinced that the carefully curated image of the Trump marriage had finally cracked. Almost instantly, theories of a possible divorce took over social media. Was Melania subtly signaling her decision to leave Donald? Was this the end of their marriage? As curiosity reached a fever pitch, people began digging into their past interactions, searching for any overlooked signs of tension. Had the clues been there all along? And if so, what had finally pushed Melania to break her silence now? The media, always hungry for a dramatic twist, wasted no time fueling the speculation. Some pointed out that Melania had always been notoriously private, rarely revealing much about her emotions or personal thoughts. But now, with this sudden revelation, many believed she was finally taking charge of her own story. Had she been unhappy in her marriage all along? Or was this just a calculated move to gain influence on her own terms? Could she be signaling that she was ready to step out of Donald's shadow and carve a new path for herself? Behind the scenes, the Trump family was forced to reassess their future. What did this mean for Melania's role in politics, and how would it impact Donald's career? Was she preparing to start a new chapter, one that no longer revolved around being the former First Lady? And what about Baron Trump? How would he navigate the growing public scrutiny surrounding his family? Questions piled up, and the public was left hanging, desperate for the next piece of the puzzle. As the media frenzy intensified, those close to the Trump family began hinting at the deeper reasons behind Melania's unexpected declaration. Was she simply tired of living in Donald's shadow? Was she positioning herself to create a new identity beyond being known as the First Lady? Now that she had broken her long-standing silence, speculation soared to new heights. Every glance, every word, every public appearance was analyzed under a microscope. Was this the start of a major transformation for Melania, one where she would finally step forward and claim her own power? Only time would reveal the truth, but one thing was certain. The world was hungry for more answers. Could this be the start of a political shakeup unlike anything seen before? Or was this just the calm before an even bigger storm? In the days following Melania's shocking announcement, the world watched her every move with intense curiosity. What once seemed like an unshakable marriage had now become the subject of endless speculation. Yet, despite the chaos swirling around her, Melania remained poised, almost too poised, as if this moment had been meticulously planned. It was as if she had been waiting for the perfect time to reveal her true thoughts, and now that the opportunity had come, she seized it with absolute precision. This led to an even bigger question. Was Melania quietly preparing for a political career of her own? Some began to wonder if she was laying the groundwork to become a major player in the political arena. After all, she had spent years standing beside Donald, enduring the intense scrutiny that came with being First Lady. But was she now ready to step into the spotlight for herself, with an agenda of her own? Political analysts started debating whether Melania had been playing the long game all along, waiting for the right moment to make her move. But what exactly was her endgame? Was this about her marriage, or was something much bigger at play? Some insiders whispered about the possibility that Melania had long harbored ambitions of stepping into the political world, not as a former First Lady, but as a leader in her own right. The timing of her statement only fueled the theories. Had she secretly resented the role of being a supporting figure and finally decided to take control of her own future? For years, her silence had been one of the biggest mysteries surrounding her. But now, with one carefully crafted announcement, everything had changed. In political circles, the speculation didn't stop there. Conversations behind closed doors hinted at the idea of Melania launching her own campaign in the future. Could she follow in the footsteps of other former First Ladies, using her platform to champion a cause of her own? Or was her statement simply a way to step away from the public eye altogether? Whatever the truth, one thing was undeniable. Melania Trump was no longer content to be a quiet figure in the background. She was ready to make her move, and the world was watching. The suspense surrounding Melania's next move only continued to intensify. Would she remain by Donald's side, or was she preparing to carve her own path toward power? The uncertainty surrounding their future only fueled more questions, and the answers remained frustratingly out of reach. As the media continued to churn out theories, the relationship between Melania and Donald grew more complicated. What once appeared to be a solid partnership was now under relentless scrutiny. Donald's political ambitions remained at the forefront, but Melania seemed to be subtly distancing herself, claiming space that had never been hers before. This wasn't just about marriage anymore. It was about influence, control, and the delicate balance of power within their dynamic. Melania's announcement had sent shockwaves through the political world, and now all eyes were on Donald. How would he respond? Would he continue down his chosen political path as if nothing had changed? Or would he shift his strategy in response to his wife's newfound independence? The tension between them only grew as people debated whether this was a temporary disagreement or the start of a deeper divide. What was undeniable, however, was that Melania had shattered the image of the quiet, reserved wife standing in the background. She had revealed a side of herself the world had rarely seen, one that was determined, deliberate, and in control. Whether she intended to step into a new political role or simply assert herself in the public sphere, one thing was clear. She was no longer a passive participant in the Trump narrative. She was a force in her own right, and that changed everything. The aftermath of her statement continued to ripple across the media, raising even more questions. Was Donald's political future now uncertain? Would this public tension weaken his influence, or would it ultimately be dismissed as another moment of drama? Could Melania and Donald continue working as a political team, or were they destined to take separate paths both personally and professionally? The speculation only grew stronger as the world watched, waiting for the next move. Melania's statement was more than just a personal revelation. It was a calculated move that had everyone questioning the future of the Trump family. Would they weather this storm together? Or was this the first step toward an entirely new chapter, one where they went their separate ways? With the media still buzzing, one question overshadowed everything else. What did this mean for Donald Trump's political future? For years, Donald and Melania had been a striking duo, with Melania standing beside him through the highs and lows of his presidency and beyond. But now, with her sudden willingness to speak out, people couldn't help but wonder what impact this would have on the Trump family's long-term plans. Had Melania finally decided to step away from the chaos of politics? Was she tired of playing the supporting role while Donald remained the center of attention? Or was there an even bigger plan at play, one where she stepped into a more active role as a public figure? Some speculated that this could be the beginning of an entirely new political movement, one where Melania took charge of her own narrative, separate from her husband's ambitions. Others believed she wasn't looking to enter politics herself, but was instead sending a very clear message. She would no longer be silent while Donald's career dictated the course of their lives. With each passing day, the speculation only grew. Political analysts pored over every word of her statement, searching for hidden messages or unspoken truths. Was this a turning point for Melania Trump, or simply another chapter in the ever-unfolding drama of the Trump dynasty? The world was left waiting, watching, and wondering what would come next. Was this a quiet signal of bigger things to come, or was it simply a way to stir attention at a crucial moment? As Donald Trump's political journey continued, Melania's role seemed more significant than ever. Was she laying the groundwork to be a central figure in the next phase of the Trump legacy? Or was she crafting her exit strategy, preparing to step away from politics for good? As the days went on, the media's fascination with Melania's announcement only grew stronger. Every move she made was analyzed and dissected, with reporters and political commentators eagerly trying to predict her next step. Would she fade back into the background, as she had so often before? Or would this be the moment where she truly asserted herself as a power player? The Trump family has always been at the heart of political spectacle, but Melania's sudden shift in public demeanor has pushed her to the forefront like never before. For years, she played the role of the quiet, enigmatic partner, rarely offering personal insight while Donald commanded the spotlight. But now, with her recent statement, the world couldn't help but wonder. Was Melania finally breaking free from the role that had been assigned to her? Had she grown weary of standing in Donald's shadow, watching his political ambitions dictate the course of their lives? Was this her declaration of independence, a sign that she was ready to build something for herself, outside of the Trump name? Whatever the motivation behind her statement, one thing was undeniable. Melania had the world's attention, and this time she wasn't being ignored. With endless speculation surrounding her next move, the biggest question remained unanswered. Was this the beginning of a new political era for Melania Trump? Would she step forward and take an active role in shaping her own destiny? Or was this merely a fleeting moment of rebellion before settling back into her usual reserved persona? The world watched with bated breath, waiting to see whether she would continue to redefine herself or retreat from the public eye once again. Melania's words had sent shockwaves through the political landscape, leaving many to wonder just how much the Trump family dynamic was shifting behind closed doors. What had once seemed like a predictable, controlled relationship had now evolved into something far more intriguing and unpredictable. Whether this transformation was driven by personal growth or a calculated political strategy, one thing was for certain: Melania Trump was no longer content to remain a silent figure in the background. As political analysts and media outlets picked apart her statement, attempting to decipher its deeper meaning, the only certainty was that Melania's future remained an open-ended question. Would she emerge as a political force in her own right, taking charge in ways no one expected? Or would she ultimately retreat, allowing the storm to pass while resuming her role as the ever-mysterious former First Lady? No matter what lies ahead, one thing is clear: Melania Trump is no longer the quiet bystander in the Trump story. Whether she is preparing to wield her own influence or simply making her stance known, she has taken control of her own narrative. The world is paying attention, and every step she takes from here on out will be watched more closely than ever before.